Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products.
Shawnee Harley, it was a Canadian Olympic coach on the women's side for 20 years, and now she has this program called Winning Matters. And she talks a lot about players. Like, we obviously want them to love winning. We want them to hate losing, but we don't want them to be afraid to lose, because the fear of losing, and this is in my opinion, the fear of losing, I think that's what makes shooters tighten up in that moment when they need to step up with confidence and knock it down. Maybe it holds players back from actually giving their very, very best, taking the risks that we need them to take. So in your opinion, how do we have this competitive atmosphere where there are winners and losers, but without them having the fear of losing? Because in Harley's words, a team that's not afraid to lose, man, that's a dangerous team to play against.
It goes back to, what I was just saying about competing. I think that dynamic of having guys that compete and not necessarily compete that you're going to win, but just that you're going to go out and give your best effort. I think effort is something that, again, you can coach it, but it's better when it comes from within. And if we could teach our guys to just go out and give the best genuine effort every single time. And of course, you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, you can have good practices, you're going to have bad practices, you're going to have a good quarter, you might have a bad quarter. But just the idea of, like, did I give it my best effort?
Yeah.
Did I give it my best effort? If you got that part in place, I feel like you're going to be successful more times than not. But if you're not, at least you gave it everything you had to be.
Yeah.
I think, again, in this, the way this era is coming about, we're seeing this different, in basketball. I know you probably see it. We all see it. It's been around for a long time. I think trying to get the kids to do their very best every single time will help them more so than if we just sitting there patting them on the back for little things that, sometimes, if they only do one or two little good things and we're just praising them and patting them on the back for that, instead of, like, putting them in a position where accountability and responsibility for giving your best every single time is the requirement, or if that's the expectation. I think they gain more value for that, as, not only as players, but as human beings. And they can pass that trait on to the next person, or to the next, ones that will follow them, or what have you. So I'm just big on and I use the word competition, but I think competition or competing is about getting your best effort. And I think that's what it's really centered around.
Do you think a lot of players truly know what their best effort is?
No, I absolutely don't think
I don't either.
I don't think they know. And I think that's part of our job.
Yeah.
And I always say, I'd rather for you to aim high and miss. And I mean this in coaching, I mean this in playing, than to aim low and hit. Because if I aim high and I miss, I'm probably going to fall in a good area. But if I aim low and I hit that, what am I, I'm not doing that good.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big part of it. And I think, again, we have to, as coaches, you get what you, like, I tell coaches this all the time: what you emphasize is what you get.
Yeah.
If you emphasize what competing and playing hard, it's funny because, like, my players, a lot of them, they're playing travel ball right now, and I'll go to games and I go just to strictly support. I tell them, I'm not there to coach you. I'm not there to, if you ask me after the game what you think or how, then I'll give my input or what have you. But I'm just there to support you. But I also make sure they understand that, you have to put yourself in position, because you hear those, well, I'm not playing a lot, or the coach this, coach that. Are you giving your best effort? But let's take all that other stuff out of the equation. Are you giving your best effort? Are you competing every single play?
Hmm.
Because what I know about coaching is those players that compete and give their best effort every single time they're on the floor, they tend to play a little bit more. It might start off gradual, but they tend to play more because that's what we can relate to when we're coaching.
Yeah.
So
That's really good. I asked that question about playing hard because, like you, I agree. I don't think most of them know what 100% feels like. And the reason I asked them if they do know, and some will raise their hands, they do. I was like, I don't think you do because of how hard it is to actually give that 100%. Like there is this almost and this is from my humble playing career in college, which wasn't fantastic by any means, but I wasn't very athletic compared to the level I was playing. So I had to go to this almost blackout moment of effort. Like I tell my guys, there's a level of effort that is, it's your very, very best that you don't even really know how you got there, how you did that. And the problem with that is you got to be in really good shape because that's hard to sustain for a long period of time. But there is that point that you can get. And then, I mean, great nugget about how players that play hard will find their way, because I've always felt like talented players that are on a roller coaster, they may have those high moments where I may be on the bench a little bit more, where I've got to be giving my very, very best there. But if I stay consistent with my effort in those low moments, coach, that's where I steal time.
yeah,
Like that's where I get. And then over the course of time, hopefully I continue to improve my skill.
yeah, it's a choice. That's all it is. Like, you know,
But I
so
think fear has something to do with that, though. It can almost paralyze them from giving their very, very best. But and that's not an excuse. It is completely in between their ears. Sorry, I cut you off.
no, no, no. I was just gonna give the example about, how everybody talks about being a two-way player, and what a two-way player encompasses. But uh I like to look at it like, it's either two things, it's one or two things. We either reasons why guys are not two-way players because the inability, they can't, or because they don't choose to. And I think, when you look at that particular statement, or you look at how that transcends, it's all about effort. It's all about effort. It's all about competing. It's all about those things that will, put you in a position to be a two-way player. Everybody should be a freaking two-way player.
Yeah, the fact that that statement exists shows that there are dudes that choose to do only one or the
Yeah,
other. The
yeah.
dudes that guard really hard but can't shoot it in the like can't make it in the ocean, work on your shot. Like spend the time necessary. But most of the time, I think it's the other way though. It's they will give effort here on the offensive end that they like, but they don't give it on the other end. Yeah,
We get the clicks and the likes.
right. That's right. Man, it's refreshing to me to know that at your level of coaching, your level of play with USA basketball, that those little things do matter.
Absolutely. I mean, all those little things matters. I mean, and you can throw character right along with that too. Like we tell kids all the time, like a lot of times, it's hard to separate when we're in USA, when we're in a mini camp or a training camp, we're trying to pick a team, let's say, and we're trying to find separation. And all these guys are really freaking good. And you're saying to yourself, okay, who do we take, who we leave, but sometimes those decisions can just be based on a character decision. Like, do I want to take a kid, thousands of miles away from home, uh, and know that his character is in question? Or do I take a kid that might be a tad less talented, but yet he has a tremendous character and is all about the right things?
Hmm.
And so we tell, those guys who we invite, we tell them that some of these decisions are made by just that. If you're not turning in your laundry in time to get your practice uniform washed for the next practice, and support staff has told you when you need to turn it in, and you don't turn it in, or if we say lights out at 11:30 and you're still out, those are ways we say, all right, this is how this decision is going to have to come down to. You
Mm.
know, if it comes down to that, you know, you hope it doesn't, but it's a valuable learning lesson for our players at USA when they do that. You know, like they understand that it could come down just as simple as you walking by a piece of paper, wad paper, not picking it in, put it in the trash can, and the next kid does. You know, like that's the kid we want on the team.
Man,
So
I hope players listen to that. Like, I hope they hear that. Like, I think of the Dak video where he's sitting on the bench at a game and he throws his cup behind him, misses a trash can, thinks for a second of, I'm Dak Prescott. I don't have to get that. Gets up and goes and grabs the trash. Like, those are those difference makers right there.
absolutely. I mean, all day. I mean, I think it makes character mean something.
You're right on the money. And I think that's what shows that that's how much the gold medal means. If the gold medal didn't mean more than just winning, then you would just pick the very, very best. Let's just take the best shooters from this game, the dudes that are off the charts the most athletically, and let's just try to see if we can get them together. But if the gold medal means what it does, which are the pillars that you guys have, the history that you have, honoring our country, like that type of ideal, when it embodies that, well, then crap, everything matters. Like there are no little things. And how do we tie that back to like a high school program or a college program? You have to have an overarching theme to what you're doing that has to be bigger than just winning, or else to me, then character. Why does character matter? It's all about just that. Like it has to be about something more.
Yeah, I think, and that's how you know, when you're dealing, like when I'm dealing with my program, I try to make sure our guys, it's not just about the court. You know, we do service. We go into, you know, disadvantaged neighborhoods and centers and work with kids and do different things away from basketball to tie that into how character is built and how is, you know, how do you continue to build it. And, you know, it's so many different ways you can just try to continue to build character and, you know, whether it's, you know, teammates mentoring each other, you know, the older guys mentoring younger guys, or, you know, one of the great ways for our guys, you know, for me, and it's coming up, you know, I have my kids camp coming up, and I kind of like tell my players, you know, you voluntarily mandatory have to work this camp. I need you to work this camp.
Yeah.
It's not because I need your help, so to speak, but I need
Yeah.
you to help yourself here in this area because working with a lot of little kids, and you know, Johnny's over here kicking somebody, and you know, somebody is picking on someone, or you know, you got to get them all herded and getting ready for lunch, and you know, all these different things that they see that, man, and you know what I get a lot of times, coach, man, I don't see how you do it, man. How you do it? You know, like that's you that you know, like you gotta think of it like
It's
that.
hard, isn't it? Yeah.
Give them the opportunity to be able to
Yeah.
step into those shoes and be able to see what it really entails. They have a greater respect. And again, it builds character, you know, because you can't just treat them like your little brother or little sister and go throw them in their room and somewhere. You got to figure out how to deal with it and be able to come up with a solution to make, you know, things continue to you know, go.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.